whatever happened to action in comics? And what I mean by that is I've seen some really, really great art coming out of comic books lately. I just saw what Pepe was doing with the Planet-Size X-Men. It's beautiful, fantastic, perfect illustration. Reminds me, there's hints of Al Williamson, who's probably one of my favorite artists of all time, if not my favorite. But the thing is he's doing a great job following the script that's given to him. But man, as I start reading through the X-Men books, and I haven't gotten them all. I get them when I can, and I get them after, the Hickman's original run of when he first started taking over. It was cool, but then I'm just not interested, like with the whole gala event and all that stuff, and the X of Swords. I didn't look at that, but I do collect them here and there. But the art's good for the most part. Obviously, there's some hit and misses in some of the issues, but it's good. But there is not a lot of great action going on. There's no definitive scenes. There's nothing that makes you jump out and go, "This is amazing." And one of the things is, artists from the 1990s get a lot of shit. They basically get told, hey, their stuff was cheesecake, their stuff was all pouches and muscles and guns. But man, it was exciting stuff. When you saw speed lines and you saw somebody jumping and punching and you'd see somebody get shot in the head and all this cool ass stuff, it was interesting. You wanted to go back and look at it just to say to yourself, man, it's just cool stuff. What I struggle with now is you do have this beautiful art, but it's boring. It's bland. It's a lot of people just standing wrong and talking, and variations of people standing wrong and talking. And there can be a lot of stuff going on, like in the environment, stuff is moving. But what you'll notice is if you were to look at a comic book today, a lot of them almost look like storyboards for some sort of movie or something like that. So if it was a big action film, it would be amazing, because the action there would be formidable to a big budget type movie. But compared to comic books from the 1990s, it's not. It really, you guys are probably hearing my cat running around. She's going crazy. But it's not. It just doesn't pull you in like it used to. And I think the problem is we have gotten to the point where we look at continuity, we look at stories, we look at this decompressed type of, storytelling, and we don't lead with action. At the end of the day, comics should lead with action. You should be able to pull up a comic book, regardless of where it is in the series, and have some sort of heart-pounding, action-packed scenes going on where somebody's getting punched in the face, somebody's flying out a window, somebody's getting kicked in the belly, and somebody's getting hit in the head with something big, right? There should be some jack dude punching another jack dude, and there should be some chick with a sword chopping stuff up, right? It just should be something that draws you in. We don't lead with action anymore. Now, that's fine. You can do that. You can have these great, remarkable stories, but when everything is just talking heads, man, it's boring. And then the worst part is, the action's there, but it's like those are the compressed panels. So you'll have like 13 pages of people talking, and then in 2 pages, there's a fight scene. And then it's introspection, talking, and people, hey, you did such a good job. Oh, what about this? And let's think about how our lives are impacted by our emotions and feelings and all that bullshit, man. We forget what drew us in the comics in the first place. I don't know if you got drawn in as an adult, that's one thing, but when I was a kid, man, it was just seeing a lot of cool stuff. When you go back to the late 80s and the early 1990s, everything was all about guns and babes and action and violence, and you would be drawn into this crazy world that was completely different from the world we live in. Completely different. But it's because of the action. Lead with action. I see these comic book covers now, and they're bland. They're people just standing around. But when you go back to some of the covers from the 1990s, it's people in crazy poses doing stuff that's inhumanly impossible, But you see it and you go, this is friggin' cool, man. I gotta open this up. And then usually in the first 2-3 pages, what would you see? You'd see a fight scene, you'd see a chase scene, you'd see some guy punching somebody else, and then a bunch of bad dudes are chasing after this guy, and you're like, what's going on? Why are they being chased? You didn't care. You just want to know what was gonna happen in the next panel. Each single set of pages was a page turner, and that you'd reach the end of that page and you could not wait to turn the page to see what was happening with the action. Now you get this, well, if you turn the page, it's probably going to be more talking, or it's going to switch to another scene where other people are just talking. You know, if you were to break down a 22-page comic book in 1980 or 1990s, if half of them were not action scenes, it would be considered boring. If half those pages were not some sort of action, you would be thinking to yourself, this is silly. Now you might get like 3 pages. You know, like I said, it's not the artist, man. I feel like it's just the way they script them. I think they're so concerned about closing out gaps and having these stories told across various titles and across a entire storyline and making sure there's consistencies and all this stuff. Man, who cares? I just want to see some jack dudes and some sexy women throwing down, you know? You know who the good guys are. You know who the bad guys are. Maybe have a decent story. Get good with the dialogue, but man, I want to see some movement. Comic books are not like movies and they're not like television. They're not designed to tell these super in-depth stories most of the time. They're designed to draw you in with fantastic artwork of people doing amazing feats of action. So, you know, that's all I'm really talking about today, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. Have we gotten away from leading with action? Or am I just reading the wrong titles? I mean, I don't read that many new comics these days because I find that they're pretty bland, but maybe I'm missing the point. But yeah, let me know. Thanks.